Hello Kaiju fans, welcome back to the Kaiju World Order. My name is MM, and happy G-Day 2025. This is, of course, Godzilla's 71st anniversary from the very first movie, and pretty cool, alright? It seems like just yesterday we were celebrating the 60th and the 50th back in 2004. Man, I am getting fucking old. But here we are in 2025, celebrating Godzilla's 71st. I'm about to start my annual Godzilla-thon, where I marathon the entire franchise from beginning to the end, including the MonsterVerse, the Netflix trilogy. Whew. It takes about a month and a half, really, to do it, usually. But, as the norm, we have gotten a lot of new stuff revealed over the past few days and last week, and I'm just going to cover last week and the G-Day stuff all in one sitting here. And I'm not going to include my thoughts on the Godzilla 2000 Burning Godzilla short or the Godzilla Battle Line stuff, if only because I have different opinions on that, and I actually haven't watched the Godzilla 2000 short yet. Saw some clips, I saw some screenshots, it looks great. I'm probably going to watch it as soon as I'm done recording, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out on all the merchandise that's been shown off over like the past 48 hours or so. So, we're going to start with everybody's favorite, Bandai. The Giant Condor, which of course won last year's Choose Your Monster to get a figure poll, has finally been revealed. It will of course be a G-Store exclusive, and I think it looks pretty cool. I never thought we would actually get a solid Giant Condor figure, and I'm very glad that the fandom pulled through, even if it was a troll choice. The fact that we're getting a Giant Condor figure over the umpteenth Godzilla variant or King Ghidorah or whatever gives me hope for some more obscure kaiju, and hopefully Bandai will see this, because they have been doing a lot of dumb choices for their premium line. We'll get to that here in just a few. And I would actually love to support that line if we get more obscure kaiju like the Condor. Now, of course, the Condor is not going to be part of the Bandai premium line, but it's a Giant Condor, alright? Only Godzilla fans, like hardcore Godzilla fans, are going to be excited for this, and I am. I'm wondering if they could do an alternate paint on it and re-release this sculpt as the giant eagle from Godzilla's Revenge or All Monsters Attack, which of course used the Giant Condor stock footage and, depending on the source, changed it from Condor to Eagle. I think that's a stretch. I doubt they'll do it, but hell, never know. And speaking of G-Store exclusives, Godzilla 1967 has officially been revealed as another G-Store exclusive. This is a figure I have been waiting for a long time. I don't care for the G67 design much, but I don't have much merchandise of it. Back when the 50th anniversary memorial box came out, it included a Godzilla 67, and it was one of the very few sculpts that I really wanted to get, and of course, because there wasn't much for this incarnation of Godzilla, the price of it skyrocketed. So I never got the memorial box sculpt, and instead settled with the YMSF. Now with the G-Store Godzilla 67, which looks, I want to say it looks very close to the 50th Memorial Box 1, if not a direct reissue. I'm going to get it, 100%. And I think it's kind of funny that with this release and the upcoming Godzilla 65 Premium Bandai one, all the real reasons to track down a memorial box at this point, this late in the game, has been kind of rendered moot. I have no interest anymore whatsoever in any memorial box figures, and that has changed literally over the past like 2 years since they started doing like Godzilla 85 and 64, and really we're just missing a 62 now, and then all the memorial box figures would pretty much be covered. Bandai will also be doing a new Burning Godzilla 2019. This is something I have been waiting for a long ass time. I never got the Blu-ray edition figure that came with the Japanese release back in, again, 2019. And I've been kicking myself ever since, because now getting one of those is not just hard, it's expensive. But now we're just getting a standard Movie Monster Series release of that Burning Godzilla, and good. Cool. So that will pretty much fill out the entire forms of MonsterVerse Goji when it comes to the Movie Monster line. And speaking of Burning Godzilla, the Godzilla 2000 from the new short is also getting a figure. This was hinted at before, and it's been fully revealed. They're using the new 2.0 sculpt that's much better than the original 2000 sculpt that started the Movie Monster line, or I believe it started it back in 2000. But either way, they're adding the burning patches to the Godzilla 2000, and it looks pretty cool. I'll definitely be picking it up. It makes me wonder if we'll see some other figures in the same line. I can imagine a, like, say, a Super 7 reaction Godzilla 2000 with this color scheme. I wonder if we'll get a Monster Arts, and I'd like to see some other Godzilla designs given the burning pattern. Really, I mentioned before on my Discord about a GMK Godzilla with ghostly white patches opposed to burning, and ever since I said that, I can't get that out of my head, and I would love to see that at this point. Two other figure, well, technically three others, but this one is technically a two-figure set. We'll be getting a Mothra Larva 2003 set with both the male and female Mothras. This is totally different from the previous Mothra Larva figure they did, which was a reissue of the larger scale 2003 8-inch Mothra. And really, that release also always bugged me, if only because the tag on it had Heisei Mothra despite the sculpt being Millennium Mothra Larva. But they are going back and fixing that now, and these new ones look pretty good. I'm curious about how big they're going to be compared to the older figure that we got, which does look rather weird on the shelf next to other 6-inch figures. So I'm glad to be able to move that stuff around finally. They've also revealed a new special repaint of the Godzilla -1 Bandai, dubbed the Autumn Leaves variant. This will be another version you can just get on the G-Store, I believe on the G-Store anyway. I'm gonna skip it because, I mean, it looks like Diabetic Pete. Like, I don't understand why collectors and Toho and Bandai or whatever keep doing these weirdly yellow tinted translucent figures. They never look good, at least to me. I don't own any of them. I don't want to own any of them. And this just highlights, like, ruined a perfectly good sculpt with ugly ass colors. And now that brings us back to the Bandai Premium line with a new Godzilla 1985 poster version that comes with a new Super X accessory. I don't know why they didn't just do what they did with the Godzilla 89 and just package a Super X2 with it. But instead they're doing this premium line bullshit again. Now, I already have the Cybot that was released, I believe last year it was, and it's a pretty cool figure, and if this one doesn't look to be all that much different, I might end up skipping it. I'm curious to see what the price is going to be, but if it is like $80, I'm going to be skipping that out real quick. And before we move on, there is one more Bandai Premium figure that has been freshly revealed. A rebirth Godzilla from the final scene of Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, where Junior becomes an adult. For some reason, Bandai saw fit to make this a Bandai Premium figure too, and that means it's going to cost more than your standard figure, and I don't know why. I think it looks okay for a vinyl figure, but again, if they charge premium prices for this, it's going to be a very easy skip for me. How could I forget Godzilla Burst? So, a new Godzilla Burst figure was shown off, a new Plasma Space Godzilla. A friend of mine sent me the shot of it, and tried trolling me into thinking it was MonsterVerse Space Godzilla reveal, and thankfully it's not. And as I said to them, there's no way in hell this is a MonsterVerse Space Godzilla. I'm calling it Super Saiyan Space Godzilla because with the gimmick that they're putting on it with larger golden colored crystals and whatever else they do, it gives me Super Saiyan vibes from Dragon Ball Z, and that's not a bad thing. I kind of like it. So, between the Gatling Gun Gigan and this and a couple of the other ones like the fire truck or the firefighter Kyu, I think this could make a pretty cool looking shelf by this time everything is said and done. Now, when it comes to articulated figures, Monster Arts has unveiled a Godzilla the Ride figure. It is a figure that nobody has asked for. I haven't seen any excitement for this. This was an easy skip for me. I mean, if you don't have a solid -1 figure, I guess go for it, but really it's just the lesser of -1 Gojis. And that's all I really got to say about that. And coming back to the United States now, not revealed during Godzilla Day, but this kind of goes back to my last video when I was talking about Scylla and the Rodan 2019 from Playmates. We've gotten more pictures of Scylla and it looks pretty good. I hope we get even more of these. I really hope we get a 2019 color scheme where she is more of a darker blue, gray, blackish color opposed to the bright orange from the New Empire. But safe to say, I will definitely be picking that up. And while talking about Playmates, they will also be doing Power Ranger Kaiju Rangers. These are based on the comic series from IDW, where they introduced new Kaiju Zords, Kaiju Rangers. I have talked about this several times, but now we are officially getting figures, and they have been shown off. We've gotten this here shot, which has the first 3 figures of the wave, which will include the green Godzilla Ranger, the red Rodan Ranger, and the blue Anguirus Ranger. I believe they're only doing 3 figures for the first wave, and then the other Rangers and maybe the Zords will come afterward. So I will definitely be picking these up. I don't know if I'm going to do it like I'm doing the Turtles, where I'm going to keep them in package display, or if I'm actually going to open these up and put them on the shelf. It's going to really depend on what the quality of the figure is like. I know they're not going to be like figure arts. They're not going to have the super detailing and really the posability of, say, a figure art or monster arts or whatever. But if it's a neat little figure, even somewhat comparable to the Lightning Collection, which I have the original lineup, I will probably take them out of box and just display them like that. Now for the elephant in the room. These were shown off while I was at work, and wow. Super 7 coming out with 3 new Ultimates for pre-order, plus a special repaint of Space Godzilla. So let's start with Space Godzilla for a second. or as it's being called, Super Space Godzilla. It is a repaint of their Space Godzilla in the Super Godzilla colors from the old Super Nintendo video game, Super Godzilla. Many companies have been doing a Super Godzilla colored Space Godzilla now for, I want to say, about 2 years. I believe Mondo did the first one, and then CCP did one, and now we're getting this. And it looks okay, but what drives me nuts about it are the shoulder crystals not being green. Instead, they got them the same color as the rest of Space Godzilla's fleshy bits, which means they're just this lump of blue mass on his shoulders. Now, the Super Godzilla design didn't have big shoulder crystals. Instead, he had smaller, like, spikes, which were colored the same as his body and everything else. But when at Super 7 they were looking at this and how they can translate Super Godzilla into Space Godzilla, because the designs are very similar. Super Godzilla, of course, was basis for Space Godzilla's design. Someone was like, well, let's just make the crystals fleshy colored, and I don't agree with that choice, even if that's how it was on Super Godzilla. Space Godzilla's crystals are gigantic. And just having big tumors of blue on his shoulders, it really holds the design back. At least that's how I feel of it. This will be a pretty easy skip for me. I have the Trendmasters repaint Super 7 Space Godzilla, the trendy variant, or whatever they called it. And it's a cool figure. Definitely. If you like Super Godzilla and you don't have any representation of it, and you've been holding out for like an articulated one like this will probably be your thing. I just don't like the shoulders. That's the only thing that I'm bitching about on this, because whoever had that idea is just, why? Green spines, like, give him his fucking green shoulder crystals. Jesus Christ. And then let's go to the other 3 releases here, and wow. So, Shin Godzilla. I believe what we're seeing here isn't a final render. At least I'm hoping so, because it's hard to put my finger on it, but something seems off. There's already been like talk about the teeth, and the teeth are the least of my concerns for this. If anything, I kind of like the fact that they played dentist with Shin Godzilla's teeth and made them a bit more traditional, opposed to the random assortment of jaggedness that the actual character had. But the body itself, I want to see more before I really critique it, because I think there might be something decent there. If not, well, at least it's not going to be as bad as Godzilla 2002. Wow. This has the same issues, I feel, as the very original Godzilla 1989 that Super 7 did. And it's possible that it's trying to replicate a 1-per-1 color scheme on these type of figures that are meant to be played with as much as collectors, like, put them on the shelf. The normal colors don't look good. Like, something just looks off here. Like, if you compare this to, like, the Monster Arts or the Haya, and I hate doing that, it's such a cliche, they don't look right. But I'm thinking, and I'm hoping, that if they would take this sculpt and, say, put IDW's Godzilla colors on it, which, of course, Matt Frank, when he was doing Rulers of Earth, based most of his Godzilla scenes on this specific Godzilla, it might actually look a lot better, much like how the Godzilla 89 that they did was a dud for me, But when they repainted it as the Trendmasters, Thirsty for Blood, it looked awesome. So maybe we're in that same situation here. The beam head just looks bad. Like, why is the beam like only that much coming out of the mouth? And then the sculpt details, there's something off here with the entire goddamn figure. It's bad. And Kiyu. It's about what I suspected a Super 7 Kiyu figure would look like. It's going to be a skip. I'm skipping the Hayo one too. Like, I don't care for Kiyu that much, and I already have plenty of vinyls. I have the monster arts. And I mean, if you don't have a Kiyu figure, this will probably be another great one for you to get. Personally, I am gonna hold off and pray that we get some cool repaints of these. If we get a, say, not Dark Horse, but IDW colored 2002 Godzilla, maybe we'll get a gun black or gun gray Kiyu. Much like how Bandai's done several times with their vinyl repaints. And lastly, we have Mondo coming in with another Space Godzilla repaint. Again, based on Trendmasters. This is their second Trendmasters Space Godzilla repaint. While the first was based on the classic Trendmasters, this new one is based on the special repaint anniversary one from the 40th anniversary. It looks cool. Definitely looks cool. I have the Super Space Godzilla already, and I'm good on the sculpt just with that one alone. But if you're a big Space Godzilla fan, this is a color scheme that doesn't get shown off very much, and it does look really nice. I'm sure it'll look great on a shelf. Makes me wonder though, will we be seeing possibly a trendy 2.0 Space Godzilla repaint from Super 7? I mean, with the Space Godzilla that they're doing now in Super Godzilla colors, maybe. Maybe not. And I believe that covers most of everything for the new releases and reveals since last week. I want to say this Godzilla Day was a bit of a disappointment. Like, where's the poll for the next Bandai? I haven't seen anything on that. Maybe I'm missing it, but I haven't heard anybody talking about it. And I wonder if that's because the Giant Condor won this year. Like, they put a joke monster on the last year's, and then it got so much support that it won. And now they're like, well, screw that, we're not doing it again. We wanted to do a millionth Ghidorah. I'm hoping that's not the case. But, yeah, man, like, we didn't get a new gemstone reveal. Even, like, the figures that we've gotten revealed, it's, Like, where's our Flying Destroyer? Like, 2025 is Godzilla vs. Destroyer's 30th anniversary. Where's that at? Where's a new Titanosaurus for his 50th? Hell, where's a new King Caesar for his 50th from last year? It would have been great to see some of them figures come in, but nope. We get another Bandai Premium and some other stuff. Yeah. Well, Kaiju fans, I think that about covers it. And until next time, peace out. Minya.
Godzilla says you should like and subscribe.